Hi guys. So today I wanted to talk about how to make practical changes in your diet and your lifestyle to improve your health. I'm taking this forward from the post I made earlier where I said, or earlier in the day in the morning, where I said that it's better to have 120 grams of carbs consistently than aim for 50 grams of carbs and just come to an end or totally be blown. So that's something I want to pick up on, right? So it is easy for us to say eat this, eat that, eat this protein source, eat that protein source. Yeah, it's correct. It's correct from a theoretical standpoint, and it is very much important. But what we as coaches or rather as sensible people, forget coaches, as sensible people, we should realize, or we that's what we should realize is that it is not practical for a lot of you. If I say eat avocados daily is the best thing in the world, how many of you can eat it every day? You might be. Let's say it costs 100 rupees. It's going to cost you 3,000 rupees in a month. Not a big amount. But it's just one item. Now suppose you are a family of four. That's 12,000 rupees per month. So these are like things which we as coaches or generally we should keep in mind when telling, and that is something we are taking a conscious effort, at least in the recent past. At least we are taking a conscious effort to make these advices more palatable for the average person and not just be restrictive. Another post I made in the morning was about grains. So if you ask me like an year back, can I have grains? I would say no, don't have grains. And ideally that should be the thing. That's the ideal case. But how many of you can, or how many of us can avoid grains totally? Be it rice or wheat or bajra or oats or anything, it's practically impossible to create a sustainable diet without grains of any kind. Yeah, it might be a little easier for a non-vegetarian, but for a vegetarian it's nearly impossible. That's the reality of things. So I want to give you now some practical tips on how to improve your health, or what changes you can make in your home to improve your health. So number one thing I would say is, like, I'm starting off with things you should cut off first rather than adding. That's the easiest thing to do, right? Number one thing I should say is take off sugar. You don't need sugar. That's the truth. You don't need sugar. Try switching to a sugar-free lifestyle. Like when you're having sugar in your tea, just avoid it and have your normal milk tea. That is an easy change you can make, and that improves your definitely it reduces your carbohydrate consumption. So that is something I would, straight off the bat, I would suggest make. And if you're particular about the taste, if you have an older person in your home and he's very particular about that sweet taste, get some stevia. It doesn't take much stevia. You can get a like little pinch, will add a lot of sweetness. So that is one change you can make. So prioritize protein, right? That's easiest. Or before that, like, let's go to seed oils. So cut out seed oils. So this is easier said than done, right? I can ask you to cut off seed oil, but what do you replace it with? Ghee. Ghee costs a fortune. If you're getting for a good brand, it costs a fortune. That's the truth. Coconut oil, it's a great choice. It's a good price, but problem, people don't like the smell. At least the northern part of the country, people don't like the smell. So that is the problem. So these are two things which you should. These are your two options realistically. Like butter, you cannot use for more than some purposes. So that's gonna be your that's gonna be a problem. So one thing you should realize is like, let's say if I say ghee, use ghee, what you don't realize, what you immediately, if you're thinking I'm gonna make puri in ghee, that's gonna take a lot of ghee, and it's gonna cost a fortune. Like I don't know how much it will cost, a lot. That's the truth. So when I say cut out seed oil and replace with something like a ghee, I'm automatically implying that deep frying, unless for the odd occasion, is not fine. So just say, imagine you are not deep frying anything, that immediately cuts down your oil consumption or your cooking fat consumption by a significant amount. No deep frying, just stir frying for your veggies, for your tadkas, for your veg sabzis. You can apply it on your roti, you can have it with your rice. How much oil or fat do you save by doing that? Just go off deep frying. And if you want to deep fry, you can keep some coconut oil. And let me just tell you, coconut oil does not smell like those hair oils that you get. So real coconut oil does not smell too bad, and I think that's a taste most people can easily adapt to. So that is my suggestion as far as your oil is concerned. Some other health tips, changes you can easily make is, most of you can switch to a 2 meals a day pattern. Easy, very easy. Just prioritize the right foods and you are easily going to be able to switch to 2 meals a day. You can skip your breakfast directly, or just extend your breakfast. You are having at say 9 o'clock, just make it 10 or 11, and have a heavier one so that you can avoid the lunch. So lunch and breakfast one meal, dinner you have a separate meal, fasting is done. So that part is sorted. These are all free things you can do, or rather these are all cheaper things you can do. Now coming to the other side, you can think, adding, what should I add to my diet? So protein is the big one, definitely. And again, it's a price issue, right? It's the price issue. It's easier when you think in terms of one person. You can say like, this much protein is fine, have this much protein. So I say 100 grams of protein. It's easy for me to have that. I can have 200 grams, that's not a problem. But somebody has, like a family of 4 has 100 grams, so that's like 400 grams. Or if you're having 125, that's like how much? 500 grams of half a kilo of protein. You need first quality protein. It's gonna cost you a significant amount. So what you should do is, like, decide your protein requirement based on your physical activity and your what stage you are at. Are you an athlete? Then you require more. If you are just a sedentary person, 1.2 times the grams per body weight, kg body weight, is more than sufficient. Don't listen to 2 grams, 2.5 grams. It's just bodybuilder stuff, not your domain at all. Women can get away even with 1 gram per kg body weight, protein. Protein is important for women, but they have less body weight. Let's say women have how much? Say 50 kgs or 60 kgs. They'd be more than be satisfied, or more than be body will be satisfied rather with 65, 70 grams protein. That's easy to get. So that's the way you should think. And I think non-vegetarians have this a bit easier. It's easy to get protein from eggs and chicken and fish. These are like cheaper options. So non-vegetarians relatively have it easier. Like if you're going for prawns and mutton and all that stuff, it becomes costlier. But otherwise, it's pretty on the budget side. Especially eggs. Eggs are like the deal breaker. Like it's like, so when it comes to vegetarians, your options are limited, and it comes at a higher price rather. Say paneer is like, how much paneer? Like I buy my paneer for 200 grams for almost 100 rupees. For rounding off, I'm saying 100 rupees. 200 grams. So that's like, how much protein do I get? 40 grams of protein I'm getting for 100 rupees. So your family has to have 400 grams of protein. So how much would that be? Right? So paneer or vegetarian sources are a bit more costlier. That's the truth. Like that's the price for the choices you make. So if you are a vegetarian, then you have to accept the fact it will be a little more pricier. Even if you're going for a supplement like whey, then it will cost more. Like if you look at it in terms of protein per price, you know it will be costing as much or if not more than mutton or even prawns for that matter. Like it will be the highest. So that is something you have to take care of. Now, coming to cutting down of fats, right? Like that's the big, that's the big elephant in the room, which we need to address. How to cut down on, not fats, carbohydrates. I got it wrong. Carbohydrates. How to cut down on carbs. So you have to make a conscious effort. I'm not asking you to switch to keto products. That's not gonna work. So I'm going back to the original tweet which I started the conversation about. Even if you can like restrict it to 120 or even 150, I'll give you 150 grams net carbs per day, you are doing much better than the average Indian who's having 300, 400 grams per day. So for this, what you need to do is you need to be conscious of what you're having. You need to be looking at your plates properly and deciding what I want. Should I be having rice with chicken or should it be chicken with rice? Both sounds the same, but both are not the same. In the first case, as most people do, you are eating rice and you are having chicken or a chicken curry as like an accompanying dish, side dish. So when you shift this mindset, you get you are having chicken. Chicken is your focus, and you are having a bit of rice. That's okay. Rice becomes the side dish. So whatever is on the main plate becomes goes to the side dish, and side dish becomes on the main plate. That's how you sort this out. One simple tip I can suggest is stop making a lot of curries. Yeah, I can feel your dissatisfaction, but think about it. Like the moment you make a lot of watery stuff, a thick gravy, like you're having a gravy, you're having a lot of dal, what does it do? It automatically makes you consume more rice, more roti or anything. You have some curry, even if you're having like say 3 chicken pieces, I'm having like a dry form and I'm having a curry form. Imagine that. Dry form, you're having 3 pieces and you're having whatever rice you take and it's over. Now if you have a curry, even if you finish the pieces, chicken pieces, and you have some leftover gravy, you're automatically taking for some extra rice and you're combining them, you're having. So if you're having gravy, that makes you consume more carbs. Simple as that. Have a lot of veggies. That's a very important thing. Like there's this trend of carnivore and all that. There's some protocols for certain situations, but not all of you. Most of you should have a fair amount of veggies. That's the truth. So you can have it like you can have a stir fry. Why not you have a stir fry? Cabbage, carrots, raw papayas, beans, cauliflower. You can have spring onion. You can have a lot of veggies. Almost all veggies except the starchy ones are low in carbs. So you can easily include them in your diet. Why don't you make like down south we call it toren or poriel. I don't know what it's called. It's stir fry basically. Down south it's made with coconut, grated coconut. Whatever the equivalent version is in your place. Why don't you have more of that? Right? Have a small portion of rice. Have a proper quantity of protein and have a proper quantity of this stir fry. You get the veggies, you get the protein and a bit of carbs for your taste buds. Problem solved. So that is one thing that's how you manage carbs. And you should understand that you are combining carbohydrate restriction and you're with fasting. It is a very effective protocol. So you're not trying to do it all with carb restriction. You are taking fasting along with you so that you can minimize the amount of carb restriction you need to achieve the same results. That's a smart strategy and that would be more sustainable also. And you can use this fasting in clever ways. Suppose you are having a function tomorrow night, then you don't need to eat a heavy meal tomorrow in the morning. You can just skip it all together. Just go to the function and have whatever food you're having and Even if it is a little more carbs, who cares? You are like, unless you're a diabetic, who cares? Like you are managing it through fasting. So be smart about it. You can do this very easily. Uh, and another very important practical tip I can say is like be smart about what you have, right? Like don't be ignorant towards testing and supplementation. I know many people who are not really you know fans of blood marker testing, like this test, that test. Look, I'm not asking you to test everything, but test the important ones, and once in 6 months, that's all. Fasting insulin, HbA1c, lipid profile, done. And assume that you have a vitamin D and a B12 deficiency. I am pretty sure you will fit the bill. You can test that also. You can get these full body test packages for 2,500, 3,000. You can get those. There are many good labs which you offer in 3,000, 3,500 at max. So once in 6 months, that is a good investment, or that's really an investment, right? So that's something you can do and you should do, and that like later on saves a lot of money if you are getting up to date with your health information and doing what is necessary. And coming to supplementation, like if you have a deficiency, it is important to supplement. If you cannot get it from your diet, you need to get it from somewhere, right? Simple logic. Don't think it's chemical substance and artificial substance. Those are all like heavy metal toxicity. Those are all legit concerns. I'm not denying that. Supplement quality in this country is more or less abysmal. And that's the fact. But having said that, Indians need supplements more than most people. We have a serious issue of B12 deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, other iron deficiency among women and children. There's a lot of selenium, iodine, zinc, all sorts of deficiencies very common in our country. So supplementation and proper planning of the food is critical. So these are some things you should keep in mind. And when you make the switch, right, like think of it from a practical standpoint. Never think it from a an ideal standpoint. For example, I'm saying keto flour reduces your carbohydrate consumption, say almond flour. But you know the cost of almond flour. It's freaking costly, right? And for a family, you think like if you can afford, great. But if you can't, what do? Just get some almond flour and mix it half with your roti atta. That's 50% reduction in carbohydrates. Coming back to the earlier point, what you can sustain is more important than what you will just do it for a while and burn off. So suppose you are getting almond flour, you are mixing it with atta 50% and making the rotis or chapatis. That's a 50% saving in carbohydrates for that particular meal. It might not seem much, it might not be enough for a diabetic, but that itself makes huge change, huge difference. Try that. And if you really want, like lack of resources is never a problem. Like you follow our X page, you can say like we share all sorts of information, technical, non-technical, very practical information we send. You can follow everything and it's like very much directly implementing. Same way, if you want recipes, we got some on our YouTube channel, we are building that up. You can, there are many other YouTube channels where you can just search the recipe. Suppose you search, suppose I want low carb idli. Just search keto idli, you get the recipe. That's that simple. Why do you sit on thinking I don't have recipes? There is YouTube, there's a whole world out there. Or even ChatGPT, just go to ChatGPT and search, find me a keto idli recipe. It will find you somewhere from a video or a link or something you can find. You can easily go get it. So that is something you can do. So being smart about it is critical, right? It's very important that you go about this in a smart way, and it's very practical also. You don't need to totally I don't need that, don't need this, and that is not what you need. and you need to smartly tackle and find ways to improve your health and your families too. You don't need to be stubborn with this is the way and that is the way. None of that is true. There are multiple roads that go to the same destination. So see what fits best for you and find a way to implement it. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. Bye.